The beauty of college football is you never know what's going to happen during the season. There are going to be teams that come out of nowhere and shock you. There are also going to be teams that completely let you down and make you question why you were even excited for the season to begin with. The other day, we took a look at the 10 most disappointing teams from the 2023 season. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 most surprising teams. Before we get to today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I was very high in Washington last off season. I think at one point last year I talked about them being a playoff and even a national championship sleeper. Well, they went undefeated through 14 games and made it to the Natty. Despite doing what I predicted, they still surprised me with how good they were. They did begin the season ranked number 10, so clearly the expectations were pretty high for Washington, but I wasn't expecting them to have the kind of season that they had. They had 4 ranked wins during the regular season, including 3 top 13 victories. Then in the Pac-12 title game, they took down number 5 Oregon for the second time as a touchdown underdog. Then they took down Texas in the first playoff game and hung with Michigan in the Natty until the fourth quarter. Again, we were all kind of expecting Washington to be good, but the fact they actually followed through with it surprised me. There was nothing entering the season that would have convinced us Missouri would be one of the better teams in all of college football. They hadn't even won 7 games in a season since 2018. Well, they won 11, their most in a year since 2014. They were also ranked for the first time since 2020, and their ranking of 8 was the highest they got in a decade as well. This Tigers team came out of nowhere, and they were legit. Their 2 losses came to 2 ranked teams, but they also picked up 4 ranked victories as well. The best player on the Tigers was walk-on running back Cody Schrader. After spending years at a school none of us had heard of, he became one of the best running backs in all of college football. He ran for over 1,600 yards with 14 rushing touchdowns. It was a dream season for Missouri, and a lot of eyes are going to be on them in 2024. This was a fantastic season for the Pac-12. They were the best conference in college football this year. A lot of the teams we were expecting to do well lived up to their expectations, but a team that nobody saw coming was the Arizona Wildcats. They finished with their first 10-win season since 2014, and it was their best winning percentage since 1998. The turnaround Jedd Fisch did with the team was incredible. They won only 1 game in 21 and then 5 in 22, then 10 this past season. They were definitely trending in the right direction, but I don't think anybody projected 10 wins for the Wildcats. The crazy thing is, they actually started the season 3-3, and it looked like they'd be fighting for a bowl spot, but they managed to win their final 7 games, including wins against 5 top 20 opponents. They finished the season as one of the hottest teams in the entire country. As they head to the Big 12 next season, there's a strong chance the Wildcats are the best team in the entire conference. When looking back at 2023 projections, most people had Florida State playing in the ACC title game, but their opponent varied, with many different teams slated like Clemson, North Carolina, Miami, or even a couple others, and I don't think many people had Louisville making the ACC title game. The Cardinals won 10 games, and they were 10-1 entering the final week of the regular season. Through the first 11 weeks, they were one of only a handful of teams that had 1 or fewer losses, but their season did end on a sour note as they dropped their final 3 games of the year. Still, it was quite the debut season for Jeff Brom and his Cardinals team. It was Louisville's best season since they moved to the ACC a decade ago. We have another ACC team in Georgia Tech. After 3 consecutive 3-win seasons from 2019 through 2021, this team has been slowly improving every year. They won 5 games in 2022, and then they won 7 this past season. 2023 was their best season since 2018. Now, I know 7-6 ain't nothing to brag about, but this is a big deal for a program who is considered to be one of the worst Power 5s just a couple years ago. They had 2 ranked wins and finished their season with a bowl victory. Now, I'm not saying that the Yellow Jackets are going to be competing for the ACC next season, but at the rate they're going, who knows, maybe they're a team that we all need to keep an eye on next year. Did anyone out there realize that Northwestern finished the 2023 season with 8 wins? Like, where did that actually come from? I know I can't keep track of every team, but when the hell did Northwestern win 8 games? This has to be the most random 8-win season I can remember over the last couple of years. The Wildcats were coming off a combined 4 wins from 2021 and 2022, so the fact that they won 8 this past season is pretty remarkable. They had a back and forth season as they started 1-2, 2-3, and 4-5, but they won their final 4 games of the year, getting them to 8. I'm sure everyone was expecting Northwestern to win 3 to 4 games again, so the fact that they doubled that probably has them near the top when it comes to teams that outperform their win projections in 2023. We're going to show some group of 5 love on this list, and we're going to start with New Mexico State, who just randomly had their second best season in the 90-year history of their program. They won 10 games for only the second time ever. It was their best season since 1960 when they were in the BIAA conference. Now, for those out there asking what the BIAA is, those were the good old Border Intercollegiate Athletic Association days. So that just proves how good of a year it was for the Aggies. They began the season 2-3, but they won their final 8 regular season games. They did fall to Liberty in their Conference USA title game and to Fresno State in their bowl game, but still, what a year for the Aggies. Anytime you have your best season in 60 plus years, that's a pretty big reason to celebrate. Another team who came pretty much out of nowhere was UNLV. They won 9 games, their most in a season since 1984 when they were in the PCAA. Again, you're probably asking what conference that is. Well, that was the Pacific Coast Athletic Association. The Rebels made it to the Mountain West title game, something that would have won you a lot of money if you would have bet on that prior to the start of the season. They started the season 9-2 and had one of the best records in all of college football. They did lose their final 3 games, so their season did end on a low note, but it's one of the best seasons in the history of the UNLV program. It feels kind of weird having Oklahoma State as a surprise team considering how good they've been this past decade, but they did only win 7 games in 2022, so they weren't exactly favorites to reach the Big 12 title game in 2023. They also weren't even ranked to begin the year. They went 2-2 through 4 games, and it looks like they were on pace for another 6 or 7 win season, but they then proceeded to win 5 straight games and climbed all the way up to number 15 in the polls. And the Cowboys ended up making it to the Big 12 title game. Now, they did absolutely get pounded by Texas, but considering they were 2-2, won 7 games the previous year, and weren't even ranked to start the season, making the Big 12 title game is quite the accomplishment. Speaking of Texas, let's end the video with them. I know they may have been the preseason favorite to win the conference, but they're on here because they actually did it. Texas is finally back. Every year for the past decade, they get our hopes up and they eventually crash down, but that wasn't the case in 2023. They won the Big 12 and had their most wins in a season since they made it to the Natty all the way back in 2009. It's a sad day when you have to retire the Texas is back meme, but it had a very, very good run. Well, that wraps it up for today's video. Who was the most surprising team in all of college football in 2023? Was it a team on today's list, or was there a team I forgot to include that should have been in here? Whoever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.